If my voice sounds funny or if it sounds like I'm sick during this video, it's because I inhaled a ridiculous amount of dust like 2 days ago. Ah, it's probably the most unpleasant experience I've experienced. Assuming you've watched my previous video and assuming you've seen the importance of caring whether you're happy and perhaps even slightly prioritizing your happiness, what should you do next? So many people, after watching that video, they came to me and they were like, you shouldn't care if you're happy because if you care if you're happy, you can become a slave. And like, if you're unhappy, you're not going to do certain things. But there's a difference between prioritizing your happiness and letting that thing control you. You should care if you're happy, but you shouldn't let it dictate what you're doing in your day. I used this analogy yesterday, and unhappiness is like being stiff and you go to the gym 6 times a week. You're not going to stop going to the gym because you're stiff. You're still going to go to the gym regardless of whether you're stiff or not, because you know that's the right thing to do. But you will care whether you're stiff. You should sit down after your workout or at the beginning of the day and ask yourself, why am I stiff? Do I need to stretch properly? Do I need to warm down properly? Do I need to do something? It shouldn't dictate your day, but you should care whether you're stiff. You should care whether your body is in the prime condition to function. And you should use the same reasoning when it comes to your happiness. Like, your happiness shouldn't dictate what you're doing. It shouldn't, because if you wake up unhappy, you shouldn't be like, I'm going to stay in bed and I'm not going to do anything. But you should, at the end of the day, be like, okay, not in a judgmental way, not in a way of like, why is this happening? Why is that? Because that would just make you more unhappy. It should be in a way of like, okay, what may be the problem here? What may be causing my unhappiness? Is there certain events that I'm attaching too much importance to? Damn, these birds. You see, the problem with birds, it's like, when dogs are making noise, you can just be like, hey, hey, and they'll stop making noise. But these birds do not care. Trust me, I've actually tried this one time. The birds were like right by my window. And I went outside, I was like, hey. They didn't listen. They went away, they came back and they started making noise. And I was just like, you know what? Dogs will listen to me. But these birds, they don't care. They don't care. And another important thing you need to do, and I didn't elaborate on this in the previous video, is that you need to distinguish between happiness and pleasure. People tend to confuse happiness and pleasure. Just because something feels good doesn't mean it makes you happy. Like, let's say, there are obvious examples of things that make you feel good, but we're going to keep it PG today. Let's say like getting a massage, right? Getting a massage. It makes you feel good. You feel pleasure during that massage, but you won't necessarily be happy. Sometimes pleasure leads to happiness because like you have no negative like thoughts in your head. You just be thinking about the pleasure and whatnot. But pleasure is just a sensation of feeling good, like something feels nice. Perhaps like more dopamine is coming out of your brain, but you don't need to have more dopamine, like dopamine rushing out of your dopamine, whatever produces dopamine to feel happy. Happiness isn't linked with dopamine. You could be sitting still in your yard, literally having no thoughts in your head, and you'd be happy. I had this thoughts this morning that sometimes people, when they ask if they're happy or not, they would like, it's something that I do. Someone asks me if I'm happy or not. When they ask me, I won't be unhappy. But by them asking me whether I'm happy or not, it causes me to think about things that I could be unhappy about. And that in turn makes me unhappy. So most of the time, you're not actually unhappy. You're just forcing yourself to be unhappy. Now that you're like prioritizing your happiness. Well, not really prioritizing, but you're caring whether you're happy or not. But not letting it dictate what you do. Just be introspective and find out what makes you happy. Because most of us, in fact, all of us were put on this earth for a specific purpose. It's different for everyone. For most of us, we will be happiest when we are doing something that aligns with this purpose. Like for me, I am genuinely happiest when I'm productive. Like, it doesn't make sense. Like, a day where you sit at home watching Netflix. Like, the day people will be like, I want to rest. I hate those days. Like, at the end of the day, I just feel unhappy, or I cause myself to be unhappy. Maybe that's because of my thoughts. I tell myself that I did nothing today and that's a bad thing. I genuinely enjoy being productive. I enjoy pursuing my fullest potential. And for many of you, it may be the same thing. Improvement is genuinely fun. Improvement makes you happy. Like most of the things you enjoy doing now, let's say it's like playing games. You enjoy doing them now because you're good at it, because you're improving. So it's not that the things like going to the gym aren't fun. Like the things like going to the gym don't make you happy, those productive things. It's just that you're not good at them yet. So they're not making you happy yet. These birds. Hey! Nah, I'm joking. I'm joking. To end this video, the only two things that I can say that will cause you to be more happy. Like, I can guarantee if you start implementing these things in your life, you will be happier. And it won't even be in a destructive way to actually be very good for you. Is the first one, it comes from a quote from Marcus Aurelius, and he says, I'm paraphrasing this, he says that no event or circumstance can make a man unhappy, but only his opinion on that circumstance or event. Essentially, nothing can make you unhappy, it's just your thoughts about that thing. So, if you practice non-judgment, if you practice the habit of not labeling things as bad, they won't be bad to you. Like a few weeks ago, maybe 2-3 weeks ago, there was no power. Like, we didn't have power for 3 days. Everyone else saw it as a disaster. Like, we don't have power. Like, our water was actually running out because, we couldn't get water from the ground because you have to have power to do that. And I was just like, it is what it is. Like, I didn't attach any negative thoughts to it. It wasn't a bad situation. It was just how it is. The second thing that will help is gratitude. Every morning, start writing 5 things you're grateful for. I know it sounds stupid. To me, it sounded stupid. But if you know that you're going to write 5 things that you're grateful for every morning, and they can't be the same, throughout the day, your brain's going to be thinking of ways to be more grateful. Like, you're building the habit of gratitude. And because you're going to be grateful, it will be easier to be happy. Like, in negative situations, you can find gratitude in that. That's it for today. I hope you enjoy your day. I hope you're having a lovely day.